This is the Italian Real Estate Podcast, here to help you with the ins and outs and basics of Italian real estate, presented by ItalianRealEstateLawyers.com. Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Italian Real Estate Podcast, presented by ItalianRealEstateLawyers.com. Of course, we are back here again with Italian attorney Marco Permunian. Hello there, and how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing well, thank you. Of course, I'm Rafael di Furia, and we are here today because we wanted to talk about quickly some of the top questions that they are getting at ItalianRealEstateLawyers.com regarding purchasing property during this period of time in 2021 and what's going on. So Marco, just to get into the nitty gritty of it, what is maybe the top question that you guys over at ItalianRealEstateLawyers.com have been receiving in regards to actually purchase in Italy during this period of time?
I believe the main question that people have asked me is whether it is still possible to purchase properties in Italy or advisable to go ahead with the purchase process right now. And the answer is it is a good time to buy properties in Italy. After all, prices are fairly low right now, even because of the global situation. And it is absolutely possible. There are no restrictions. It is possible to buy properties in Italy. Of course, it is less likely, or I should say less easy to be able to travel to Italy to see the property or even to complete directly in person the purchase process. But if you're using an agent, if you're using a friend, or if you're using our company to represent you in the process, if you know what you want to buy already, if you think you found a good deal, and there are many out there right now, there are no restrictions. You can go ahead and purchase your property without limitations, without any differences from the situation that from the past years. But to clarify, while there are no restrictions on the process itself, it may be hard for you to travel right now because of the travel restrictions that are in place between America and the European Union. But to clarify, while there are no restrictions on the process itself, there are some restrictions in place with regard to the ability to travel internationally. So you may find difficulties in traveling internationally as of this moment in time.
And that's very interesting. And just out of curiosity, moving on, what is maybe another question that you guys have been receiving quite frequently lately?
A lot of people, they ask me which is the best place to buy their property in Italy. Of course, there are people that already have a clear idea of where they want to purchase their house, maybe because they already have a property in the area, maybe because their family or friends who live in a specific region, or because they are maybe in love with a specific area of Italy. But a lot of people, they're just in love with the idea of Italy. So it's not uncommon for me to receive this type of questions, like where should I buy my property? And I have to admit, it's not easy to answer that question, because in the end, it can be a personal choice. Of course, there are pros and cons of buying in a specific area versus another, but choosing the area that you like, that's really a personal choice, and it's difficult for somebody to advise. We can, of course, go over the prices in a specific area, or where more properties are available in a specific area versus other areas, where you can find luxury properties versus normal properties. Of course, if you move to a very famous area, you will find more expensive properties, but maybe also better properties that do not need renovation works. If you move your interest to southern Italy, you will find maybe better deals, low-cost properties, but that maybe require a lot of renovation works. If you move your interest to the lake area in northern Italy, for example, if you are focusing on Lake Como or Lake Garda, you will find likely very expensive properties, but that you can sell easily, that you can put back in the market easily. So we could go on and on like for hours talking about where to buy.
What's the best place? What's the most ideal location? Although I guess kind of borrowing from that idea, maybe, would you say, because you've already talked about Lake Como and Lake Garda, kind of talking about that purchase with the ability to put it back out on the market, maybe in an easier way than some other places. But would you say that when it comes to it, I mean, maybe a very general question here, would you say there's a place that would be not necessarily ideal, but worth looking at if you're looking at a property as an investment that you might be able to actually turn around and sell again, rather than just purchasing that property to live in or have for the rest of your life?
Of course, there are areas in Italy that are very famous, more than others worldwide. So everybody knows Tuscany or Puglia or the Lake Como area or Sicily. So other than the lakes area that I just talked about, of course, buying in a famous area like Tuscany, where there is probably the highest concentration of Americans living in Tuscany, that allows you probably to have the ability to sell your property more easily than if you're buying a property, for example, in this region where we are now, where we're filming in the Veneto region, where you can find maybe properties at a lower price, but it may be not as easy to put them back on the market.
Unless you're, like you were saying before, I'm assuming like Lake Garda, for example, on the
Exactly.
Veneto side. So, because where we live, I'll admit it's not the place where everybody jumps to and runs to and where they think of first, like, oh wow, Rovigo, this is my first place that I have to go on my vacation to Italy. The cost of living here, though, and quality of life here, though, I do have to say is actually is quite interesting, and I do like it and do enjoy it. But for the average person looking to come to Italy, that thought about coming to the country and having that ability to be in that place that's maybe more what they might think of as that idyllic location that they have dreamed about from their experiences, either traveling here or seeing the movies and thinking about the Tuscan villas, then they might not see that here because every part of Italy is so different. But just to move on to maybe one final point, is there another question that you guys have been receiving recently that is just coming in that you really feel would be worthwhile touching on?
Yes, people ask us normally what is the advantage of using our services versus going solo versus trying to purchase the property by yourself. And of course, that's absolutely possible if you have the ability to navigate the process yourself. If you speak Italian, you can handle the process yourself. You don't necessarily need an attorney. Of course, if you're a foreigner who lives in a foreign country, who comes from America or the UK, and who is not familiar with the rules and laws in Italy and regulations, and who doesn't know how the process works in Italy, because in the end, the process in Italy, it is very different from the process of purchasing a property in America or in England, for example. So if you are not familiar with that process, using a lawyer may be a great help, not only because, of course, we translate all the documents, we review all the documents, but we can also do due diligence on the property, so we can make sure that you don't buy the wrong property, that you don't realize only after having purchased a property that there was something that you didn't check, that the property has a lien or there are some other limitations on your ownership rights. And of course, we help you not only navigate the process, but we act as your translators. So we interact with the other party, with the notary, with the real estate agent if one is involved. But last but not least, we can even handle the whole process without you being present or involved in the process, or without you having to go to Italy at any point in the process. And the process in Italy, it's not an easy one to purchase your property. There are countries where purchasing a property is much easier. It's a shorter process. In Italy, it's a rather long process. You have to do different steps. You have to enter into a preliminary agreement. You have to make a formal offer before you're able to enter into a preliminary agreement that needs to be accepted. And there are certain forms and formalities that need to be respected even when you make your offer, even when the seller accepts your offer. And after you have entered into a preliminary agreement and you've done your due diligence, you have to appear before a notary public, which is a public official in Italy who will only speak Italian to you. And again, there are certain formalities that need to be respected even when you are appearing before the public notary. So not only we can help you navigate all this, but we can represent you during the entire process.
Well, that's fantastic. And I think this is actually a great place to wrap up this episode. So, of course, Marco, thank you for making yourself available to talk about what you do and also about Italian real estate and what's going on right now and some of the top questions that you guys have been getting. And if somebody is interested in your services and needs some help with purchasing property here in Italy, how can they get in contact with you and your team?
People can send us a message through our website, italianrealestatelawyers.com, or they can give us a call. The number is on our website.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you again. And of course, if you're interested in more content like this about Italian real estate, or you would also like to learn about Italian citizenship, make sure that you are subscribed to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Italian Citizenship Assistance. And there is a great library of content here on this channel on YouTube where you can find out all kinds of information that we have done all sorts of deep dives on. And also, if you're interested in more content like this about moving to Italy, life as an Italian, and living abroad, be sure to come over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Rafael di Furia, where I could talk about these subjects a lot more, and also getting out and showing you a bit more of Italy as well, having some fun outdoors. But of course, we have been here again with Marco Permunian, Italian attorney from ItalianRealEstateLawyers.com, and I am Rafael di Furia. Thank you so much for joining us again, and we will see you all next time. Later.
Thank you.